Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time I'm going to be going over the Imperial Order format. And before we hop into the duel, I want to go ahead and go over a few things. So since the last video, there were two new packs that dropped. The first one was Tournament Pack 2, and the other set that dropped was Pharaoh's Serpent. Very popular cards that came out of the set were cards like Morphine Jar, Jinzo, Noblemen of Crossout, Premature Burial, Call the Haunted, Gravity Bind, and Imperial Order. Looking at the ban list, the new cards that were hit was Jinzo to 1, Morphine Jar to 1, Witch of the Black Forest got hit to 1, Card Destruction to 1, Premature Burial to 1, Limit or Removal to 1, Swords to 1, Call the Haunted to 1, Ceasefire to 1, Imperial Order to 1, Nobleman of Crossout to 2, Backup Soldier to 2, and Morphine Jar 2 to 2. So there are a lot more cards hit on the ban list now than there was before, and I feel like we're just going to keep seeing the list grow and grow and grow over time to become a very big ban list like it is nowadays in current format. There are 6 popular decks in this format, and I'm going to go over some sample deck lists and popular cards that are played in the decks. First is Tomato Control. This is by far the most popular deck in the format. We can see that it's a lot like the last video that I uploaded, just with some of the new cards now. So there's not really too much to talk about in this deck list. Next, we have the Relinquished deck, which this deck is cool. Being able to go like Sonic Bird into Ritual Spell and to summon out Relinquish. Maybe you tribute like a Witch of the Black Forest or Sangan. You can get a search off of them. It also helps you deal with stuff like Tomato and Jinzo, being able to go ahead and just Relinquish take them. But you can also see there is a good amount of outs to Relinquished in the format. So this isn't like a boss monster. It's kind of just like a way to out something is what it feels like. Now we have the Hand Control deck, and this deck has a lot of options on it in what you can play and everything that you can do in the main deck and also the side deck. Now we have the Tomato Beat deck, which I would say is the second most popular deck out of all of them, right behind Tomato Control. Mystic Tomato is just a really good card in these old formats, but you can see people trying to play different things in this deck list. Like, we can see like a Summon Skull in it, which some people play, but you know, it's only 25% of the deck lists. So I would mainly look at the stuff that has a higher percentage in it, because these are kind of just like techs that some people play. So don't pay attention to like Horn of Heaven and stuff like that. People are mainly playing more of like the high percentage type cards. And then the second to last deck, we have the Recruiter deck, which this deck is just called Recruiter just because it has Mother Grizzly and Giant Rat in it, so they have like cards that can go into the next card, kind of like Mystic Tomato, but these are just weaker versions of Mystic Tomato because they don't have as good of cards to summon in this format. But this is pretty much just like the first deck, but it just has like extra summon from deck monsters in it. And now the last deck, we have Flip Control, which this deck gets to play the Morphine Jar number 2, and these cards are really powerful. And we can also see something like Magical Hats in this deck, which is kind of cool. It can make it harder to die in the battle phase, but also it can allow you to set some spells from the deck, and then you're able to grab them back with something like Magician of Faith or Mask of Darkness, so it kind of makes these cards more alive. So that's like a way to facilitate the spells and traps into your graveyard. Kind of like how we saw Painful Choice do in the last tournament finals that we went over. But out of all these decks, the two main ones are really just Tomato Control and Tomato Beat. And then you'll randomly see like Recruiter and Relinquished in some tournaments. But these just randomly pop up while most of the tournaments are just Tomato Control. Almost everybody is playing this. This deck is definitely a tier 0 deck in this format. Okay, now last thing before we hop into the duel, we're going to look at the leaderboard very quickly. So just looking at the very top players here, we can see that Dump Truck, the person that we actually spoke to last week and asked them questions about treasure format, is technically ranked number 1. But I would say Artos is probably actually ahead of them just because their win rate is so much higher. Like being 16-3 is a lot more impressive than being 32-16. Now we have Lolo8888 versus Danny Droid, and let's go ahead and hop right into the match now. So we will see Lolo win the rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and they will decide to go first. 40 versus 40, gotta love to see it. Opening hands, we have the Forceful Sentry, Monster Reborn, Magician of Faith, Mirror Force, Call the Haunted, and then a Magician of Faith. they have the Mechanical Chaser, the Fiend, Mega Cyber, Pot of Greed, MST, and Regeki. So this is a new card that we didn't get to see last time. This card says, if your opponent controls at least 2 or more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand, and it has 2,200 attack. We also see like Call the Haunted that we haven't seen in these before, but a lot of people probably know what this card does. It's just Monster Reborn pretty much, but a trap. Then activate Force for Sentry, look at the hand, and then go ahead and rip the Pot of Greed out of the hand. And then we go set Magician of Faith, set Mirror Force, pass. They draw in the Fissure. And then they go MST the back row, normal summon out the Chaser, attack over the Magician of Faith, effect, grab back the Forceful Sentry. And then they go set both the power spells, so that way they can't get ripped by this. And then pass turn, they draw on the Chaser. And then now I was going to say, do we even commit this into that? Because we know what the card in hand is, and we don't really need to rip that card right now. So there's no point of like really activating this at this point. So we just go normal summon, battle phase, crash, set Call the Haunted, pass, they draw Witch of the Black Forest, and then normal summon, battle phase, swing for 11, and then they go Call the Haunted, bring out the Mechanical Chaser, then main phase 2, activate Fissure to go pop the Chaser, and the Call the Haunted leaves, and then draw MST. We go Monster Reborn to summon out Chaser, and then Battle Phase Chaser to attack over Witch, and then Witch goes search out a Mechanical Chaser, and then main phase 2 activate Forceful Sentry to rip out the Mechanical Chaser. But this also puts it back into the deck. It doesn't just like discard it. So it should be back in the deck there. Then they go MST pass, and they draw into a Mechanical Chaser anyways there. Then they go normal summon out Chaser, Battle Phase crash, and then pass, draw Witch of the Black Forest. So we go normal summon out Witch, battle phase, swing for 11. If we set Magician of Faith, like that's not bad, but to apply any actual pressure, we'll need the normal summon next turn, or Monster Reborn next turn, and then this will be live. I guess we could add Forceful Sentry to rip this, and then normal Witch. But they'd rather get more value out of their Magician of Faith. So they draw Jinzo, pass, draw Maneater Bug, attack for 11, and then pass. They draw Imperial Order, pass. Also, something to note about this is the errata of the card. So back in the day, back in this format, you only pay 700 on your standby phase, and it's optional to destroy it. You can see how they like wrote down this is not optional. In this format, it is optional. And also, Jinzo prevents you from having to pay the 700 life points, which that is not how it would work nowadays, but that is how it worked back then. So now we just go battle phase, swing for 11, set MST pass, draw Mirror Force, set Mirror Force pass, draw Delinquent Duo, activate Duo, chain the Imperial Order, then chain MST on the order, so we spend 2 cards and we get to rip 3 there. That's really strong. We also take out their Imperial Order, then go ahead, battle phase, swing for 11, you know, they're not going to Mirror Force that. And now since we ripped the Fiend Mega Cyber out of hand, we can start committing our monsters more. So set Maneater Bug, pass, I draw Delinquent Duo, set pass, draw Snatch Steal, swing for 11. They Mirror Force it, which, sure, I guess they're trying to make them have more cards in hand, which will make their Delinquent Duo stronger. And they won't have to take the 11 there, which also makes the Delinquent Duo stronger. Draw Sangan, set Sangan, pass. Okay, others didn't do anything there. Sure. Pass, draw Fissure. Maneater Bug, pop. Go ahead, search out Mystic Tomato. So it doesn't really make too much sense to Mirror Force the Witch of the Black Forest then, right? It kind of felt like that was like kind of a dud. They're going to go Magician of Faith, grab back Monster Reborn, normal Sangan, Monster Reborn, summon out the Chaser, and then battle phase go for game. Now, on to the next game. We will see Danny go first. Opening hands, we have Fissure, Forceful Sentry, Banisher of the Light, Witch of the Black Forest, Snatch Steal. Then they have Confiscation, which this is the one that makes them discard. Last game they discarded off this, but that's not how it works. Then Trap Hole, MST, Sangan, Maneater Bug, and then the Mechanical Chaser. So activate the Confiscation, rip the Witch of the Black Forest from hand, set MST, set Trap Hole. Okay, I guess because we can like trap hole potentially what their top deck is, and they have Forceful Sentry, which would show them the trap hole. So now goes set, pass, draw Monster Reborn, and then we go set Banisher, pass, they draw Knock, and then Maneater Bug to pop, normal Sangan, battle phase, swing, pass, they draw Call the Haunted, Monster Reborn, summon out Witch of the Black Forest, and then battle phase, beat over the Maneater Bug. Then set Call the Haunted and try to pass turn. They draw Maneater Bug, normal out the Mechanical Chaser, beat over, and then Witch effect goes search. that will go ahead and grab out a Mechanical Chaser from the deck to the hand, and then swing for 1,000. They go Call the Haunted on that attack to bring out Witch, that way we don't have to lose 1,000. Then obviously this summons that out, which is able to beat over the Sangan. Draw into Magician of Faith, and then Battle Phase, attack Sangan, so maybe just trying to play around Mirror Force here so it doesn't commit the Mechanical Chaser. We also have Fissure that can out this anyways. So go ahead, Sangan, grab the Magician of Faith, activate Forceful Sentry, and then go ahead and rip from the hand, ripping the knock. Then activate Fissure to pop, set Magician of Faith, pass. Ooh, did they shuffle? They did shuffle. Okay, well, that's pretty good. Did I shuffle hand? Did I? Well, shuffle deck, not the hand. But, yeah, you can just check the logs. You don't have to, like, ask the opponent. But, yeah, they're going to go ahead and knock the Magician of Faith. And obviously the set card was going to be... I feel like it was just obvious that it was going to be Magician of Faith there. Like, it could have been a Man-Eater Bug. But if they rip knock, that's because they want to set something that's powerful there. So Magician of Faith would probably be more powerful than knock. Actually, I don't know. It could have been a Man-Eater Bug too, because Man-Eater Bug beats like them setting either of those. So you know it's going to be one of those two, and both those cards are really strong. Then they go set, pass. This had happened twice in a match. Yeah, that did happen twice in a match where they ripped and then they top decked it. Draw Confiscation, Battle Phase, attack. Yeah, you don't want to start with like Confiscation, because that could have also been like Magician of Faith to add back. Then you can Confiscation and choose between more cards. So Man-Eater Bug pop, Witch Effect, go ahead search Sangan, and then set Sangan, pass. Okay, so we don't even try to rip from the hand. We're just gonna, hold the Confiscation until our opponent like adds something off like Sangan, Witch, Magician of Faith, or until like we want to rip something like very specific, or we're just like up ahead and their opponent doesn't have too much. Go ahead, beat over Sangan, grab out the Man-Eater Bug, and then, oh yeah, this should have also left when the Witch left. Then draw Mystic Tomato. Okay, now we go set Man-Eater Bug, pass, they draw Mirror Force, and then attack, Man-Eater Bug, pop the Tomato, draw Cannon Soldier, and then now we're going to go activate Confiscation, look at the hand, rip Mirror Force, normal Tomato, they trap hole it, pass, they draw Tomato, normal Tomato, swing with the Tomato, pass, draw Heavy Storm, activate Heavy Storm, which, just MST the MST basically, then normal Cannon Soldier, Snatch Steal, take, Battle Phase, swing, then know the card in hand is Magician of Faith also. So, I was going to say, I could hold, but it does play into a decent amount of their top decks, because they would get this effect if it's just for by battle. So they can just go ahead and Cannon Soldier, Tribute, burn for 500. They don't gain 1,000 off Snatch Steal either. Then draw Witch of the Black Forest, and then this makes it so if they just set Magician of Faith, we can go like normal summon, Cannon Soldier, beat over, Mechanical Chaser, attack directly. Oh, that's not game though, it's 100 off. It's close though. Draw Goblin, attack force. Hold up, that is game though. So normal summon, and then Cannon Soldier, swing, Magician of Faith, add back, attack with 23, then we have Cannon Soldier, burn for game. So GG's. It was a Tomato Control Mirror there, which yeah, it's kind of expected. Like I said, when I was going over the decks, this deck's basically just tier 0. Like, most people are pulling up with this deck. Like, if there's like 20 people in a tournament, you'll probably have 18 or 19 people playing this deck. It's just by far the best deck overall. There is like room for improvement in the other deck list, but this deck is just so solid. It has all the good cards in it, especially when the card pool is this small in these old formats. It's like you don't really have too much of a choice, it feels like, but to play like all the good cards in one deck, and you kind of just get this deck. Said we've been maining the tournaments back to back. But no luck this time. Sadly, we are the top dogs, by the way. Said I can't stop winning, but okay. That is going to be it for this video. And with all that being said, the DB Grinder signing off. Peace. Have a nice day. Stay safe.